What's up, everybody? How's it going? This is the Cafe LeBlanc Anime at LeBlanc episode number 4. Today we're gonna be talking about Demon Slayer, the oh my god, what is that called? The Mugen Train, something like that. Movie, which is been out in Japan for a minute now. It's been a while since it's been out, and now we finally get it here in the U.S. and everything. So, very excited. I've been a fan of Demon Slayer for some time. I already read the manga all the way through. So, this movie, although it was probably like really awaited for some people, I was more likely excited for like the art and that kind of stuff and anything else. But to me, I was kind of like, I already read the manga. I already know what's gonna happen. But it still surprised me. It's really well made. I didn't know what to expect, but they definitely went beyond what I expected for this movie. What do you think about it so far? It does feel like an episode, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, they did an excellent job as far as just translating the manga so well. I feel like there is a lot of shonen anime, whether it's like a movie or the actual TV show anime, where they really kind of try to drag things out. But as somebody that's already read the manga, I was impressed with like how well, when you think of a movie, you're like, oh man, well, it's gonna be like filled up with filler. It's gonna be like a bunch of nonsensical stuff to kind of get there and everything. But no, it literally just jumps in from the whole arc. They literally just did the whole arc in. Mhm. Yeah. Right. Yeah, for sure. Honestly, I feel like it probably delayed this movie as long as it did because of the English dub. But I'll say it didn't really necessarily. This is probably gonna get fired for this, but I don't think it really needed to have a an English dub to kind of be released in the West or anything like that. I would have 100% been fine, and I feel like most people would have been okay with just kind of getting the sub version. I'm guessing they probably wanted to get as much people as possible in theaters to get this one, especially because yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, I understand, but he also delayed the full. Yeah, he deleted by like months too. So I don't know. To me, I just feel like it doesn't really make sense. But again, I don't really care too much either. I'm not like gonna cry about it or anything. It just felt like it took a long time to be releasing and everything. But whatever. So as far as the movie, I kind of want to just go over a little bit of the summary of the story and everything with no spoilers in this part or anything like that. But we can obviously talk about some of the more interesting aspects of it and everything, and then we'll actually talk about spoilers within. I feel like maybe like the next 10 minutes or so. depending on how much we have to avoid non-spoilers. I don't know. I feel like it's kind of hard to talk about the story without like spoiling stuff or anything. So, like we mentioned earlier, story takes place right after season one. So if you haven't seen season one, we're not gonna really talk about it or anything like that. And it's really just a story of them in this train. There's been some occurrences when people are dying in the train or in that train area. So they've been sent to investigate. They find another one of their. I guess he's a superior. He's one of the. Yeah, Hashira. Yeah, exactly. He's there to do the exact same thing. And right off the bat, I don't know if you guys don't know I forgot his name and they say it like a million times. Oh my god, what was his name? Yeah, Rengoku. He's the strongest one out of all of the other ones. Out of the he's like the number one pillar. Yeah. Oh no, they actually say it in the movie, at least in the translation, that he's the one of the strongest ones. So yeah, so it's kind of like it's interesting because they actually do show you quite a bit of the abilities. I love the way that they did it because although no spoilers or anything, but he showcases pretty much all of his breathings, which is all of his 10 different sword attacks or whatever they do, and yeah. Oh no, he goes through it in order. He starts from one and he ends with number 10. That's his last attack before he dies. Oh, spoilers. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to do a meat. I'm sorry. Skip for 1 second. But no, he really does. They do a pretty good job of like showcasing like his abilities and everything. But also, he's a really charismatic person, like you mentioned before. Like he's super likable, and just from my perspective of like, he's just nice to everybody and super kind and everything. Within like the first few minutes of them introducing to each other, he's like, "I'll take care of you guys. You know, you guys are the new ones. I'll take care of you." And it's like, yeah, exactly. And everybody's like, "Oh no, that's fine." And then they kind of jump into it, and they're like, "Oh yeah, train us," because they see how strong he is and everything. And I just love it. I feel like they did such a good introduction. And they see they can't hear the guest too well. They can't hear you too well, but I hear you just fine. Oh, okay. Can you hear me? Say something.
Yeah, you can hear me, correct?
I hear you just fine. Okay, let me know in the comments, guys, if you guys can hear him. It should be fine now, but if for some reason you can't hear him, I do apologize about that and everything.
Well, you keep cutting out on my end for some reason. I'm not entirely sure why.
I don't know. Yeah, let us know if there's like any other audio issues or anything like that. Yeah, it says it looks like it's good now. So yeah, okay. So yeah, I mean, like I was really happy to how they handled the story. Obviously, there is a lot of stuff going on, and I was worried they were gonna like cram too much into what is like an hour and a half movie.
Thought they were gonna add more to it, not like stick with the original story, but try to cram something else in there to try and make it feature length. But no, they literally just did the story almost panel for panel what it was, other than like maybe the fight scene or the final two fight scenes and. At least the one with the main one that they're dealing with.
Right.
That one I think went a little bit longer in the movie than it did in the manga.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, they definitely added a little bit of extra time, but it wasn't like it never at no point did it bother me. You know, it wasn't like bothersome. It didn't feel like it was just kind of weird or anything like that. It was just
weird. And it definitely the flow of it was definitely there. So that
yeah, definitely. Yeah, I feel like a lot of movies when it comes to kind of like the anime movie, which is kind of like supposed to follow up some kind of arc from the anime. Usually, you end up seeing the biggest issue with a lot of anime movies, which is that there's just so much extra stuff that they added to it. I don't necessarily want to call it filler, but it kind of is. But in this one, they were so masterfully like able to avoid filling up parts and everything. And if they ever did, it didn't feel like out of place. It felt like really natural. For example, they have there's a scene and where they fall asleep into a dream kind of thing, and everybody has like a dream sequence, and the manga doesn't really showcase a lot of that stuff. That they in fact they I think they only yeah.
I seem to remember that happening.
Oh no, they showcase Tanjiro's, but they don't go through the other the blonde kid and the Hog. They don't really show that part. They show the main protagonist and then the owl dude. Oh,
hey,
you know
I'm
what?
the one that pointed that out to you, not the other way around.
Now I see the owl thing. I feel like it's the eyebrows. I think that's what it is.
It's definitely the eyebrows, but the fact that he like never blinks, and the fact that his eyes are like completely and utterly round, like that's kind of
oh
what.
Yeah, because everybody in this show, everybody has this like octagonal shaped eyes.
Yes.
They're not actually round. They're like in this octagonal shape, and his eyes are two colors with a white dot. And like they are actually round. He actually is completely like if you were playing a find the main protagonist game in like an anime game. He wouldn't want to actually be looking more like a protagonist. Yeah, no, they added some parts there, but none of the parts really actually like it. They didn't make sense. Like they made perfect sense to what they were doing and everything. It was really well done. I appreciated that quite a bit. Was there anything that stood out to you story wise?
I was just saying, the entire anime has kind of been very, very close to the manga, or at least as far as I have read. Which I've actually, because I keep buying the digital versions because I'm weird like that. They are actually like as far as all the way up to what they've shown. Have been fairly good, and I really hope they continue to do that because it gets pretty heavy down the line, and I would hate to see them like change that in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna stop at this point. I think they're just doing the important. I feel like they're just doing a pretty good job on doing that, and also I don't think they. I don't know.
I would like to point something out. You are slightly wrong with the dream sequences. They show everyone except Zenitsu's dream.
Okay, yeah, I recall not seeing one of them at all. I just didn't know which one they didn't show up. So I was kind of almost there though.
Yeah, I just wanted to double check because I have it on my phone. So I was like, might as well
I knew they added some parts because I searched in my mind and I was like. I don't recall ever seeing that, so I was like,
I think the whole like soul area. I think that one was also added a little bit more too because it wasn't really expanded upon very much in the manga. So yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, they definitely added some parts, but it's all within context. It all makes sense. Whatever scenes they added, it's just made there to allow for
the scene and maybe elaborate on something that was left a little bit vague in the manga.
So it was pretty well done overall. So let's talk about animation and like the fights because I feel like that was one of the bigger winning points in this anime.
Oh yeah, because there's fights all over this. Like within the first 10 minutes, they're not really fighting until a couple of demons show up, and then it's kind of a cat and mouse game until the next big fight shows up.
Oh yeah. There's
and
not
then from
much.
that point forward, it's basically non-stop fighting until the end.
Right? Yeah. It actually, like, if you look at it from like a shonen perspective in like a movie, there was quite a bit of like there was more of like the build up until the moment with the fight, but once the fight starts going, it really just kicks up. Which I can imagine some people that just watch them for like the fight sequence and everything, you'll probably be like, oh man, there's not a whole lot of this going on. If there is, it's just like it happens at the very like end, like the last 20 minutes is like all fights for like the first hour.
It's all super intense fights.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's
but
not
like,
just there's a demon, cut its head off, and then we move on to the next one. No, it's literally like life and death fights, and uh, what is it? Philosophies being tested against each other, and
Yeah.
it's so beautiful.
And you know what? Even like when the first time whenever I saw them kind of like walking into the train, and you see there's like a panoramic view that they do of the
Hmm.
train and everything, and it kind of just flows from the beginning of the train up until the very end. It's like the camera kind of browse through it. All of that
Hmm.
is so well done because they combine 3D animation with 2D animation, and it just
And they
goes
did it
so
really well.
seamless. Which it doesn't, to me, like, it always bothers me when they use 3D animation and it looks like shit. Netflix. Every
I wonder what you're talking about there.
every time that I see something done by Netflix with 3D animation, I'm like, what the fuck is going wrong? Like, there's something bizarre about the 3D animation. But here is so well done that you don't really, like, it doesn't bother you. It's like, it feels like it's natural. And a lot of the attacks do the same thing too, where they do like a big attack, and it almost feels like they took it out of like a comic book strip. Like it's really thick and really vibrant and really
Oh
colorful and
yeah,
everything.
that's how these attacks have always been in
Yeah,
this
yeah.
particular series. And in fact, if you pay attention, like pay really close attention to the episodes,
Hmm.
when they pull back like quite a lot for like distance shots,
Yeah.
the characters are actually 3D models. They're not 2D hand drawn characters. They're
That's where
actually
I was
3D
going.
models
That's where I was
walking
going with
through,
my.
but you don't notice it unless you're looking for it.
Right, exactly, yeah. So like the aspects where they combine the 2D and the 3D animation is like really seamless. They do have like a good way to kind of mix them both together, and it doesn't really feel out of place. It just feels really natural. Like it looks really well. The color palette is beautiful, and I like how they switch color palettes between different worlds. The dream sequences, like when you are in Tanjiro, you have a specific color palette, and then when they
It's
move
very
to
like rocky and like indoorsy style feel. When
yeah.
you're in Tanjiro's, it's very white and somewhat warm depending on the scene that he's in. And then when you're in um, Rengoku's, like his entire that's the thing that bothers me about his good dream is that his good dream is his father like saying you'll never amount to anything.
Yeah,
Like how messed up is that?
I don't think he was in a dream per se. I think he was just having a memory. I think that
Well,
was just a memory
I'm
from the
basing this
past.
off of like the context clues of everyone else and their dreams and how their
Hmm.
stuff is like representative
Right,
of
right.
their ideal, and particularly because the dream demon was like, "Here's a very good dream for you."
Right,
So
yeah, yeah.
it makes
I
it
think
makes
to
you think
him,
about that.
yeah, I think to him was
And
it was just triggering more like a memory of like, because I feel like he was using that as like a, I'm gonna power up myself because you know I can be stronger or better, or whatever, and maybe that will be like a good thing for my father, because to him like I feel like it was like a big thing that to get his power, I'm sorry, his father's approval, and you
Mhm.
can kind of see that reflected in like, when he's talking to his brother. He was like, "Oh,
Oh
you don't
yeah,
have to be like me. You can be better than me, or you can do whatever you want, and I'm gonna support you," kind of thing. Like it was. I don't think it was necessarily the father part. I think the good part was like him and his brother's relationship, which no spoilers, but it does come out into play. It's probably gonna come out into play in the next season, based on the
it
manga and
very much
everything.
should, particularly
Uh,
since the next season probably will be the last, depending on how they cut it up.
I think it's gonna be 3 seasons. The last two, last part of the manga really kicks in really fast, and I feel like they can probably do 2 seasons out of it instead of one. I would rather if they do that than
There very much is a
yeah.
lot that happens, but most of what you read up until like the last 3 or 4 manga is a lot of backstory for a lot of characters.
Yeah, that's why I'd rather they kind of slow it down. I feel like I don't know if there was some kind of issue with the writer or something, but it felt like the last 10 chapters felt like they were like bum 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 bum. Thing was just happening and everything, and I'm like, if they can
I
slow it
haven't
down
read
a
the
little
last
bit.
10 chapters, so
Oh yeah, yeah, and then yeah, you don't even know where I'm going with this. So
like
it did.
I have up to volume 21, so like don't you be spoiling anything
Oh no,
beyond
no,
that.
I'm not gonna spoil anything, but I did feel like there was some kind of rush into kind of like finishing it. Not that they didn't finish good because it felt like he finished pretty good, but I felt like he could have. use some more space and maybe a little bit more developing on some aspects and everything. So if they can do it on the anime, I would rather them do two separate seasons and wrap it all like that. I will be fine with that if they drag it up
Spend
a
a
little
little
bit.
more time to like actually develop the characters that they're going to be murdering along the way.
Yeah, there's just a lot of things that happens in it, so I feel that would be a good way to do it. So yeah, I mean that's pretty much that I have on like the non-spoiler territory thing. I came up with one spoiler, which was like the biggest spoiler, but I think we can go ahead and jump into spoilers if you're ready for it. Unless you have anything else non-spoiler you want to kind of discuss.
I mean, no matter what I talk about, I'm gonna fall into spoilers at some point.
Yeah, it's just really hard to talk about this one without kind of spoiling about it, because the story is literally just going through the train and fighting a demon. That's like no spoiler. They're literally it. Like they just go into a train and fight a demon, and that's
They
it.
technically fight two demons,
Yeah.
like two real demons, at least ones that can possibly cause an issue, and one that definitely causes an issue. But I'm getting ahead. I'm getting ahead of myself.
And that's it. Alright, guys. So if you haven't watched it or you don't care for spoilers, then stay here. If not, we're gonna go ahead and jump right into the spoiler territory situation here. So let me go ahead and hand my handy dandy spoiler warning thing right there. I went ahead and uploaded it here. Let's go ahead and jump right into spoilers then. Okay, so spoilers. The first time that I read the manga, I was kind of upset the way that they approached the death of the character.
I'm actually not. Like
No,
the way
let me explain before.
Okay.
Because they did such a good job as far as like developing the character. They made him they made him so nice. Like there's a lot of like, even when they do like this background with his brother and everything, you kind of see what he's about and everything, and everything they do for him. So I just kind of, it just really kind of hurt me that they kind of kill him off so fast. Like that's what I'm talking about. It's not like they yeah,
you're
like they
talking
kill
about
it.
the suddenness of his death rather than like the fact that he's died.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like any character that dies in any series, you're like you have to accept that at some point. But I just felt like they did it so sudden within like a few like chapters into the manga, or like within like an hour of like knowing this character. But the writing is so good; it does make you feel like he's like a really good, compelling character. Like he's almost like made to be like this. I guess you could call him like a mentor figure type of character and everything, but you don't really get to see like much of the mentoring because he dies within like the few
No,
chapters that he's in.
but I mean, his death and ultimately his speech to Tanjiro and the rest is kind of ultimately what he leaves them with. It's like,
Yeah, right. No, I
don't
know
ever,
that.
don't
Yeah,
ever, and particularly the actual fight that he has with the upper three demon that ultimately ends his life shows them exactly what they have to do. They have to be willing to make those sacrifices to end the demon menace in their world. Like
right.
that
Yeah.
is he's teaching by example rather than by just
No, I agree with that, I know, and I see that absolutely. I totally understand that. I'm just talking about from like an emotional point of view, not from a kind of like
well, I still think that the emotional impact of it is still there.
Oh, definitely, 100%.
Like I very much had tears running down my face that entire scene because I knew it was coming, but the girl I was there with didn't,
Oh
and
yeah.
she was a mess.
You're
She
like, oh
hated
no.
that he died. I hated that he died, but I
Yeah.
knew it was coming, and it still hit me like a freight train.
Right. Yeah. No. It definitely, like, I was like super sad when it happened. I was like, oh man, are you serious? Like it was a good. I don't know. They just managed to do it so well.
Despite the fact that his death was super sudden.
Yeah. They did it so well. I don't
I mean,
know.
the whole point of this series is that anyone can die
Oh
at
yeah.
any moment because of these demons, and that's kind of what they've been setting up throughout the whole series. Like,
Yeah.
When Tanjiro goes to the village to sell charcoal, he comes back and his entire family's dead. They go to a village after, or not even a village. The next demon he meets has been slaying people on the road next to a mountain with a former Hashira on it. Like, how does that happen?
Right.
And then like his very first mission is to go to a village, and he only barely saves a girl before she's killed. So like the entire series is setting up that these deaths can happen at any time to anyone. So I actually really enjoy how they're doing this, and even though his death was sudden, it's kind of been set up throughout the series to kind of expect those sudden deaths, even of those peoples that we've come to really know and care for.
Yeah, they did such a good job. I'm very
And it's
happy.
only going to get worse from here. Just
Yeah.
everyone who's listening, because it's just gonna get worse.
Oh yeah, 100%. And you're not even at the end, so you know.
No,
So,
I know I'm not at the end, but even still, from what I have read, it's just gonna get worse.
it gets what chapter is the last one you read so far?
Let me put it up and you distract the people while I do that.
Yeah. So one of the other good things that I liked about the movie was the music.
Oh yeah, the music definitely set a very good tone for the rest of for the entire movie.
Yeah,
So,
I was really surprised. Even the last song at the end, I was like, oh yeah, really good. I liked it. They always do good music with the anime, but I don't know. It's a mixed bag sometimes. But they did a pretty good job here. It definitely matched the tone and what was going on. Yeah, Marcus, the movie was great. Yeah, it's definitely worth going to the movie theater to watch this movie. Fun fact, I was supposed to watch it on Thursday, and I fell asleep. I was feeling really sick, so I fell asleep and I didn't go to the movie theater. And I was like, oh man! So I went today to go to the movie theater to watch it. I have to buy tickets again. My movie theater refused to give me a refund for a movie I didn't watch. So, oh yeah, 100%. Anyway,
oh yeah, the last chapter that is currently available in the official English translation
yeah.
is 186, which is Ancient Memories. Basically, Tanjiro goes back in time through his ancestors' memories to see how his ancestors learned the Hinokami Kagura dance.
Okay. Oh, dude, you still have a while to go.
Yes, I know, but even still, that's a very fun one.
Yeah. You got about 20 chapters to go.
That's it?
Yeah.
Oh damn.
That's why I said. That's what I said that it doesn't feel like you're close to finishing, right? It does kind of feel like they kind of not. I don't want to say necessarily rushed it out, but it definitely does feel like they they pushed it forward as much as they could. I don't know. It does kind of feel a little rushed. It does, but
It does.
it doesn't get any. I don't know. Uh,
Yes, he did get COVID-19, but that was months ago. He's better now.
I'm not sick, Andre.
You said you were feeling sick the other day.
No, he said, "Why are you sick that day this year?" No,
He asked if you got COVID-19.
I had COVID last year, but no, I'm not sick at all. I'm like 100% fine. I just went to the movies and wore
He
a
was asking
mask.
why you didn't go on Thursday. You said because you said you were not feeling well and you slept through the.
I don't know, no, no. I was feeling like, no, nothing like COVID or anything. It's a stomach situation. It has nothing to do with. There's more than one way to be sick on something. No, it has nothing to do with that. Oh yeah. So yeah, you are really close to the end, but it didn't really feel like it was close to the end.
It really doesn't. Like I feel like there's at least like 5 or 6 more manga ahead of me before the actual end.
Yeah, no
That's
man,
just based on my past experiences with
you're
manga.
really close to. It probably want to be like one or two volume more.
Most probably 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Just because sometimes chapters go a little bit longer. Like chapter 186, it goes on for like 15 to 30 pages.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, but I think it's good. One of my issues with some of the manga sometimes, or even like the anime, is that there are certain authors that don't know how to end a story. Bleach,
One Piece.
One Piece, Naruto. Jesus, like you have a pretty good story going, and they continue it. And then my gripe with any Shonen Jump right now is that the last chapter they have to have an extra chapter with their children or their children's children's or some kind
Or
of
just like to show what they're doing now that they're not doing the main thing from the
right. I'm
series.
like, okay, why would you think that I want to see that? There's a reason why I read this for so long, and it's absolutely not to see your damn kid running around.
I don't know. It depends on the person, and it's not. Again, it's not just you. Like, I would very much love to see Luffy as king of the pirates, having his own kids and still running from the navy. Like, that would be hilarious.
I don't know. I won't be okay. I'll be okay with that probably because Luffy earned it. It's been around for so long. Kind of like, all right, I'll give you a pass on that. But like Naruto, he became
No,
Hokage at the end. Okay, we
he
don't need
became
to see his
Hokage.
kid.
We did not need to know.
Yeah,
We did not need to see that.
we don't need to see about his kid and Sasuke's kid and like everybody else's children. I don't really care about that. I watched the anime to see him become Hokage. He became Hokage. End of the story. I don't care about anything else. Anyway, going back to Demon Slayer because I just had to go on a rant about it. Uh, oh, cool. Marcus says that they don't typically bring movies to the Bahamas, but they anime movies to the Bahamas, but they brought that one. So that's cool.
Well, considering that it broke all sorts of records in Japan for
Yeah.
opening week and then sustaining weeks and all that sorts of stuff like that, I would hope they'd want to bring it to more places, particularly with how well it did.
Yeah, it did really well, and I'm happy for how well it did. It definitely deserves all the praise and everything. It's weird to see an anime tie-in movie do so well because anime tie-ins doesn't typically do super well. Typically,
No, I
it's
mean,
gonna
just
be
look
like
at like My Hero Academia. Like those movies, while they're really good and the animation quality is great, 9 times out of 10, they're gonna one not super impact the story hardly at all, and two, they are a side story that really doesn't matter.
right,
So
yeah, and then but what they managed to do with this one is they really managed um, to get it together to what it does. It's a single story by itself. Even if somebody hasn't seen the anime, they can comfortably go into watching this movie and still get something out of it. I feel like it's
I wouldn't be able to say that quite as much just because I've read the manga, I've watched the anime, I've watched it probably 3 different times now, multiple times in Japanese and once in English, so I could get used to the English voice cast before I watched the English dub of the movie. And just from my amount of experience, I would not be able to say one way or the other if someone else from outside the understanding of the series would get something from it. Like if I step back and look objectively as like a story, it feels like something's missing because something is. There's backstory to these characters.
I'm saying that
There's
you can comfortably watch the movie and kind of understand the situation. I'm not saying that it's a standalone thing, but I'm saying that you could still understand what's going on, especially with
yeah,
the
you could definitely understand what's going on. Maybe not necessarily who all the characters are, why they are the way they are, and stuff like that. But you could definitely get something from it.
yeah.
Though some people might be blindsided a little bit by the fact that Rengoku might seem like a main character, and then just gets offed at the very end.
Yeah, I don't know. I was so sad at the end, but it's also nice to see that. Also, did you see in the manga that you were saying the 187 you see Rengoku's
186.
oh, you haven't read 187?
No, 186 is where the last official English translation is right now.
Oh, okay. There's an Easter egg on 187 Where you see Rengoku's ancestor.
Good ancestor.
Yeah, actually, you
Huh.
see him. You see him on here too. In 186 too. Yeah, you do.
I'm going to have to double check that because I don't remember that in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, it's. I'm looking at it right now. Anyway, so
Wait, the long hair guy that actually teach
yeah, you definitely see him, brother.
Tom, I found him.
Yeah.
I was just being dumb.
You broke up there for a second. Anyway,
All right.
so continuing the
So
podcast here, sticking back
basically
to
I found Rengoku's ancestor in the manga. So
yeah.
I was just saying that I'm derailing this. I'm sorry.
Okay, and now I don't even remember where I was going with this.
You were just
Uh,
talking about the Easter egg. That was it.
no, before that, before we jumped into that. I don't remember
Um,
now. I completely lost my train of thought. I just saw that and I was like, I had to tell you about it, and now I lost my train of thought.
I'm sorry,
Uh,
man. I didn't mean to derail you.
it's okay, dude. Don't worry about it. It's fine. You know, it is what it is. Um, yeah, I don't remember what I was going with my conversation before. It's nowhere to be, it's nowhere to be found now. Yeah, I have no idea where I was going with that. Oh man, I don't remember. I don't remember at all. I'm drawing a blank.
I gotta ask, what was your favorite bit from the movie? Like, this is one of the like standard questions I always have
Oh,
whenever
okay.
I watch a movie with friends. Is like, what was your favorite bit? What was your
Okay.
least favorite bit?
Well, my favorite bit was the final fight
With
with
the upper three demon?
one of the upper demons that he fights, which is kind of almost disappointing because you see him like charged up, like he's ready to do a kamikaze attack, and just kind of like die with the enemy, but he doesn't. But he's still like it's still like such a good bit where he just goes and like
It's like
and
you're gonna die, and I'm gonna take your
yeah,
head with me.
and then like the demon like stabs him but right on the stomach, and he does this thing that he has just taught Tanjiro as far as like controlling your breathing and everything could like control your muscles and everything in your
Try and
blood and everything.
contract it, basically.
Right,
See
and he
that,
literally does that same thing he just taught him like not even like 5 minutes ago to like
and
detain the demon.
he does it to an extreme degree to hold someone else's arm in his abdomen.
Right, and then he just goes and he's like, "I'm about to fuck you up," and they're like in this standstill where he's like almost chopping off his head off, and then the other dude is over here like, not like this in this standstill. It's a
He's
good
actually
moment.
struggling to like remove himself from the
Yeah,
situation.
and then he's like,
The entire time he was just completely controlling it.
mm-hmm. That was a good moment here. I that's probably my favorite bit. What about you?
Probably Rengoku's first display of his abilities when he stands up in the train and is like, "Pardon me for the sword, but there's a demon on this train," and then just goes ham on the two demons that show up. Like, that was so freaking cool.
Oh yeah, it's a good moment, especially because he shows how much control he has.
Oh
Because
yeah.
you know he's inside a train with everybody just sitting there, and he still just goes and
He
kills the
goes ham
demon.
and just kills him.
Yeah. So
No issues whatsoever.
yeah, it's a really good scene. Another scene that I liked is when they send Tanjiro back to his dream world or whatever, and you cannot see him kind of like spending time with his family and everything. It's just a nice moment. He doesn't really like do anything, but to me, like I was like, oh, you know, it's nice that he got to see them again.
Nice that he got to see them, but like when they started like berating him when the dream demon was like, "Here, and you don't like nice dreams? Have a nightmare instead." And
Yeah,
he's just like, "You motherfucker." You're not putting words in my family's mouth. They would never
Right.
say anything like that.
Yeah, it was such a good moment. Yeah.
Such a beautiful moment.
Okay. Any moments you didn't like?
This is probably just an English dub thing, but when you actually first see Rengoku and he just takes a bite, tasty, takes a bite, tasty. Oh, that was very annoying.
Oh
And
no, that same thing is actually not a translation issue. That same thing happens in the Japanese version too.
oh, that's probably the only part that I hate of that movie.
Oh really? I didn't mind it. I thought he
I
showed
thought
him like
like it would have been kind of funny, but even still, it was just a little much for me.
I don't know. It might just make more sense in like Japanese context kind of thing. Like it is a common thing that Japanese do say out loud that something it tastes really good if something does taste really good, and the
But
amount of times that he
it's
does it is
literally
like a
every
soup.
bite.
Like yeah, that's supposed to be like the whole thing. Like he's a really extreme person, and he's just showing how extreme he is through like everything that he does, including eating. That's kind of like that. Like they're showing how his character is, how extreme he is to like everything that he does. That was my interpretation of that scene. My the one that annoyed me was whenever the bored dude whose name I keep forgetting,
Inosuke.
Inosuke, he has like this dream.
Oh, the dream where everyone is like animal versions of
Yeah,
themselves.
he's like Nisco is a rabbit, and
Tanjiro is like a tanuki,
yeah,
and
exactly. And then Zenitsu is a rat.
yes.
I was like, oh, like that completely threw me off. Like, I know he's kind of like a, a weirdo kind of situation. I think, like, yeah, it's just
Oh
a
yeah,
little
he is
weird.
very much a weirdo. But the
But
fact that everyone had a chance to use their unique skills to make it to the final like section of the movie, like that was really cool.
yeah, but he like I don't
I
know,
also
like
love the fact that Zenitsu is still asleep basically the entire time, and still like, I'm going to protect Nezuko, thunder breathing first form.
yeah, that was pretty cool, and he just runs and everything, and that was pretty funny. Uh, and Inosuke was actually kind of annoying a little bit. Where he's like fighting the demon, the sleeping demon thing,
Mhm.
and he's like, oh, he can't fall for it because he can't see his eyes because of the mask or something like that. I was like, that's a stupid thing to do. There's like a really stupid reason
Well, I mean,
for
even in other, like, I don't know, you know the character Ghost Rider from Marvel?
yeah,
So he has this ability called the Penance Stare, which
right.
doesn't work on you if you cannot see.
Hmm.
And this is basically the same thing. Like, if you can't see or your eyes can't be seen, like, it makes sense that this ability wouldn't work.
No, I'm not saying it doesn't make sense. It does make sense. I'm just saying like he was kind of like a dumb reasoning. It's like the mask. He's wearing this mask so he can. I don't know. I just thought it was a
He's
little bit
always
dumb.
wearing his mask.
Yeah, I know he's always wearing his mask. I don't
I
know.
just love the fact that, like, at the very end when he's crying, the tears are coming out the boar's eyes.
You're right. That was pretty funny. I liked that a lot. It was super funny, but I liked it. I was like, oh my god, that's hilarious. Uh,
Basically, any scene that he was in was a point where everyone in my theater laughed. Like, particularly when it's like, oh boy, let me stick my head out the train and then be like, woo, and then like, I'm gonna get out and like see how fast it is and see if I can outrun it on foot. It's like, damn it, and then
that
that's not
was
how that
that was
works.
exclusive to the anime dub. Then that doesn't only happen on the.
Oh
You
no,
just
he just says it. He doesn't actually do it.
I know that's why I said that's nothing that he says on
Oh,
the sub.
that bothered. Well, I mean, it got a laugh out of people,
Yeah,
so
it definitely made him that way because he's just being a weirdo in the sub. It's just like, oh, the air is nice or something like that, and he's like, I wonder how it looks outside, but he wasn't like, I'm gonna run. I wonder if I can outrun the train.
Oh no! In
No.
the English dub, he very much was like, "I'm gonna see if I can outrun this train."
Oh no, he doesn't do anything like that. He was
Which,
just
at the very least, from the English translation of the manga, is more in line to what his character was.
yeah, I don't know. He's just a weirdo, but he's cool. He's probably one of my favorite characters. He's really funny. When they
I
were
just love
crying,
when he gets his sword back, and
yeah.
he's like, "Oh, these aren't good. These aren't good enough. Let me break holes in them." Well, the
Oh
guy who
yeah,
made it is standing right there.
that's hilarious. Yeah,
Uh,
I love it. Yeah,
I died when I saw that.
he's a really funny character. I like him.
Yes.
Okay. Well, what else can we talk about with this one here? I don't know.
I mean, there's not really a whole lot more to
Yeah.
talk about. Really, it's just a matter of like, if you really enjoy. Okay, one thing that really bothered me though, before we like close this up, was when Tanjiro's like, you know what's really gonna help this situation? If I run over to the point where that upper three ran into the forest and huck my sword at him.
Which one? Can you repeat that one more time?
When
I'm trying to understand the situation.
I'm sorry. When Tanjiro,
Mm-hmm.
the main character, like at the end when Rengoku's sitting on the ground dying,
Uh huh.
and the demon that killed him is running off into the forest, he's
Yeah.
like, you know what's really gonna help this situation? If I run over and throw my sword at him.
Yeah.
Like I know they had to separate him from his sword so he could get a new one, but even still, like that bothers me.
Oh no, I
Pretty
mean, it
sure
hasn't bothered me
it's
yet.
in the manga, but like, what was the point of throwing your sword? It wasn't going to do anything, even if it hit
Well,
him.
it was like an act of desperation. He was hoping that the demon will come back and fight him, maybe like get him mad or something like that, because the sun was coming.
Yeah, even
That's why he
so.
kept calling him a coward, kind of like taunting him to get him to come back. That way he could be like, yeah, the sun is there or whatever. Because he was,
Demon.
yeah, which is kind of funny because he did say something that makes sense. Like they're always fighting them at night because they can come out on the day. So like, in like a sense,
We
they
have to fight
always,
you on your turf,
yeah,
and
exactly.
we
So like,
still beat you.
yeah,
You never fight us on our turf, and you can never win when you're on our turf. So
right. So he was
eat
like,
it.
even though he was like running away, he kept calling him a coward kind of thing. So
Oh
to
yeah.
me, it just made more like, like trying like a last act of desperation to kind of like get him to come back and like maybe finish the fight or something like that.
I think the actual finish to the fight in the manga is so much more impactful than if he had come back for that fight, because then it would have like taken away a little bit
Yeah.
of the sacrifice that Rengoku had.
Hmm.
So I kind of prefer him to have run away to ultimately meet his fate later in the series, but in a much more satisfying way.
Right. No, I'm not saying that she should have come back. I'm just saying what I thought based on how he was acting and everything. Personally, I feel like it just is good that he didn't. Like it shows. It really sets a good aspect of like the anime and how dark is gonna come from there. Sure, there's like funny movies, funny moments in the manga, and I'm sure in the
Mostly
anime too.
involving
But
Inoue
it's
and
it's
uh,
only gonna get darker from here on. So
oh yeah, it's basically it's basically a nightmare from this point forward, with only a few brief moments of levity before it ultimately just kind of falls in on itself.
right, yeah, I was like, oh my god. Every time you see something happening, you're like, oh man, it just gets worse with time.
Also, can we talk about the fact that only four of the Hashira have a legitimately like normal weapon?
Uh, which ones?
Rengoku?
Starting to list all of the names of the person that have normal weapons. That's when
Okay,
he broke up.
so hopefully it doesn't cut off again, but it's Rengoku, the Mist Hashira, Gyu, and the Wind Hashira are the only four that have legitimately straight swords, or like everyone else in the Demon Slayer cores do.
Yeah. So what? The girl has the butterflies, and
The
then
butterfly girl has the like needle one at the very
yeah.
end that has poison. The love Hashira has like this weird sword whip thing.
Oh yeah, but I mean that's a sword. That's considered a sword.
It is, but it's not like they all have swords except for one. It's just that none of them are
The
like
monk.
a katana, like a straight up katana, like everyone else.
Yeah, the
In
monk.
the
What
the
is he?
monk has a straight up mace.
Yeah, he's just a tank. That's what he is.
Yes.
And
The sound
then
Hashira has like those two
machetes looking thing.
machete. They're more scimitars, like nunchuck scimitars, as far as I can tell.
Yeah,
The snake Hashira has a weird like Flamberg style blade,
yeah. Still a
and
blade though.
it is, but it's not what you would expect from someone who is um much smaller than what a Flamberg is made for.
Yeah. And yeah, I don't know that. I don't know. I'm really happy with the with the animation on the fights, the choreography fights. They were really well made.
Oh God, yeah. Everything about the movie and the series just as a whole is
Yeah,
really well done. I'm not a particular fan of the English dub, and that's maybe just a personal preference
yeah.
because like I was rewatching the entire series to get used to the English voices for the movie,
Hmm.
and when we got to the like the spider mountain, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like the dad spider guy, like
Hmm.
he never said anything in the Japanese dub. But in the English dub, he's like, "Stay away from my family. I have to protect my family. My family needs to be protected." Like it was
It was
very,
rough. Sounds rough, man.
it was.
Yeah, I haven't seen the dub, so I can't tell you. I can't give you an
Don't
opinion or
bother.
anything like that. Yeah, I don't know. The only thing that I've seen from the dub is every time that I scroll down on Netflix, Netflix likes to give me the trailer sneak peek, in whatever they do, and I'm kind of like, oh man, stop doing that,
So
please.
gross. Stop it.
It's like I'm just trying to scroll down. Stop. Yeah, no, it's cool though. I don't care. You know, like you said, there are certain people that just can't do subs. You know, like they have a reading disability or they
They
can't
just
read
prefer not
fast or
to read or
right.
anything like that.
So it's fine. You know, I don't. I'm not gonna judge you if you like to watch the dub or anything like that.
Oh no, I'm not either.
Um, it's just it's a natural thing. You know, if you're into that and if you need it or whatever, go for it. You know, if you must.
Of course, like I mean, we don't judge people for how they enjoy something, just that they enjoy something.
Right. Yeah, yeah.
All right,
Alrighty.
I think we might have actually come to the end of this conversation
Right,
because
I'm
I
kind of
can't
like,
think of really anything else.
like I can't really think of anything either. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for coming by. It was nice just kind of giving you a review of Demon Slayer: The Mugen Train. If you were to rate this movie from 1 to 10, what would you rate it?
What are we basing this scale on? Like, what is a 1 and what is a 10?
Whatever you will like to rate it as. However, you will rate a movie from 1 to 10.
Uh, I would say objectively for someone coming into this completely blind, this is probably maybe a 5 or a 6. But for someone coming in with knowledge of the series and the characters, this is probably maybe an 8 or a 9, not a 10, not perfect. It was really close, but even then, I would still probably do like 8, 8.5 at most.
Yeah, definitely. I like as much as we talk about all the good stuff and everything. I wouldn't say this necessarily like a really stellar movie. Like it's not.
No, because
There's
it
some.
it did feel like it dragged on just a little bit too long,
Mhm.
particularly with the fight scene with the Dream Demon.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
But even
100%.
still, like it definitely hit all the notes it needed to, added things where it needed to, even if the fight there at the end was a little bit long.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I still think they had a lot to work on,
Hmm.
but they did an amazing job otherwise.
Yeah. I think when it comes to things like the animation, the choreography, the fights themselves, the music, the writing, the everything within leaning of the world of the Demon Slayer universe. I feel like it was stellar and really well done. As a fan of the series, I guess you could probably even give it a 9, like if you were really high. I'm going to give it like an 8.5. I think they definitely did it, everything that it needed to be done. Like you said, there were some aspects that kind of dragged along a little bit. And honestly, like, I'm really happy that they got enough money from this. Maybe they can put a little bit more money into the animation on the anime, so they can kind of pull more. You know, that's kind of where I'm going with this. Like, I'm glad the movie did well.
Like distributors and and like people who make movies and stuff like that see the success it had, and actually try to like make good anime movies that fall in line with the story rather than just being side stories that have no bearing on the main story.
Right. That's one of the things that I do have an issue with. There are some pretty shit movies out there. There are some Naruto movies that have like no consequential into anything. It's obviously made for simply just like a cash grab to get some of the audience to kind of get some of that sweet revenue from people watching, just going to watch that movie and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But this one definitely did a good job following the storyline and going to kind of like a sequel to the anime and everything, if you will. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you so much for watching this. Thank you so much for tuning in and checking out the review here. It was pretty impromptu. I was just messaging when I was like, hey, how would you like to be in a podcast tonight? So I do appreciate.
And obviously, I consented to do that. So.
No, you're here by force. I forced you to do this. You're being blackmailed into coming into this podcast.
No, I wanted to do this. In fact, I wanted to come over, but like, I'm exhausted because I did a bit of a workout today, so I was like, I'm not going.
It's cool, dude. Well, thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much again for coming here, and you guys have a wonderful day. I'll see you guys in the next video.